Greetings, YouTube. There has been a lot of discussion on the RPG community here on YouTube concerning attack of opportunities in Pathfinder and 3.5. And I've been thinking about it myself quite a bit. From when I originally posted my video, and a number of people have made video responses or detailed comments. And Povolterno put forth an interesting idea of making attacks of opportunity an exclusive ability for those who've taken the combat reflexes feat. Now, this limits the use of attack of opportunities, which is kind of the goal. A lot of people don't like them. They want to not have them in the game. They want them to be less prevalent so that it will smooth out combat. And I can kind of understand that. But if you take the tactic Povolterno took, and I am not attacking his ideas, him here, I'm just disagreeing with his idea. Currently, attacks of opportunity are usable by anybody. And if you roll them into a feat, suddenly an ability that everyone has is gone, and now you have to pay a feat to acquire it. To my mind, feats are precious. They are like giving up blood. And you now have created a feat tax to acquire an ability that prior was usable by anybody. Also, it doesn't fit some builds. What if you're playing a dwarf tank with a 10 dex? Why the heck would you want to take combat reflexes? You wouldn't. But now if you want to ever make attack of opportunity, you have to. You've just taken a feat away from someone, even though he's a fighter, could probably spend in a better way fitting the tank dwarf build better. So I'm opposed to that idea. So I started thinking, okay, the goal is to limit them, but not take them away from everybody. So okay, so what's a good way to do that in my mind? So I thought about it. We have 3 different tiers of combat expertise. Half, 3/4, and full BAB. Basic attack bonus. So, if you have a half BAB, you have a -4 on your attacks of opportunity. That reflects the fact that you are not good with combat. Not to mention, in the case of a wizard, you have a really limited selection of weapons. Though oddly, the quarterstaff in there, which is actually a fairly complex weapon to use, but that's beside the point. So it should make sense that you are particularly good at taking advantage of an opponent's misstep in combat. If you have a 3/4 BAB, you'd have a -2 to hit. So you're better at attacks of opportunity, but you're still not great. Rogue, for example, is all about finding that one single attack where he gets that strike and get a sneak attack damage. He isn't necessarily designed around the concept of being the perfect combatant in all situations. And if you're a full BAB class, fighter, paladin, ranger, you have no penalty for making attack of opportunities. You can just make them whenever the situation arises. Now, I still like the idea of modifying combat reflexes. So, combat reflexes would still give you more opportunities for attacks of opportunity. You get 1 for every bonus you have to dexterity, just as the feat has now. But you would also get a +2 to hit on attacks of opportunity. That way, if a wizard, for some strange reason, took combat reflexes, say they're into touch attacks or something, you would now only have a -2 to hit because, face it, you're still a wizard and you suck at combat. Rogues would now be on par with the full BAB classes, and the full BAB classes, the fighters and the rangers and such, would have a +2 to hit, which is almost justification for some dwarf tanks to take the feat. Now, there still should be a way to avoid being hit by an attack of opportunity, even if you haven't spent a feat, because there are feats that help you avoid that. But again, I don't want to force people to take a feat to avoid attacks of opportunity. If you want to avoid them in combat, there should be a way to do so without having to spend a feat. So I'm going to suggest expanding the total defense ability. So say you want to get past someone and you don't want to have to suffer attack of opportunity, you say, I'm moving past them with the total defense. You gain a plus 40 your armor class, and if you move at half speed, you will not suffer from an attack of opportunity. You are essentially kind of doing a side crawl. You're facing them as you move past them. So if they're here, you're doing this. You're tracking them. And because of that, they can't get the jump on you. They could still decide to stop fighting the person in front of them, say if you pose a greater danger than the person they're currently engaged with, but they would then be turning themselves around and exposing them from attack from behind from what they perceive as maybe the lesser of two evils. And if you decided to do this between two opponents, you would still be exposing yourself to an attack of opportunity from the person you're ignoring while you're doing your total defense to the person in front of you. Say because the person in front of you is an ogre and the person behind you is a kobold. Little do you know it's a kobold with 12 ranks in rogue and you're now dead. But, that's what happens sometimes in combat. So this would allow a person with the right situation to completely avoid an attack of opportunity, still get the movement they need to get somewhere else, say a companion that needs medical aid or a magic potion of some variety. And yet it's an option open to everybody. Attack of opportunities are still open to everybody. It just, depending on the BAB you have, depends on how good you are. Combat Reflexes still allows you to have multiple attacks of opportunity, but it also gives you a bonus to hit when making them. So, to me, this doesn't take anything away from anybody, keeps a lid on attacks of opportunity simply because they'll become much less attractive to a whole bunch of classes, and still gives an incentive for even a tank-style build to take Combat Reflexes. So this is I've been running this through my head for like 2 days now. I haven't play tested it. This is just something I've run it through my head, but I don't think I can find any holes in it. I could be wrong in that regard. I'm willing to listen to people's opinion on it, but I prefer the idea of not removing things from the game and making people pay to get them back. I don't like that. I don't like feat taxes. I don't want to make people take feats that they wouldn't have taken otherwise just so they can do something that prior to that modification everybody could do for free. So I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say about my latest concept on attacks of opportunity and see if you can take it out, kick the tires, and find anything wrong with it.